Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Second Chance Overland. It is day 2 of working on the brand new RZR Turbo R. The last video, which was yesterday, recording wise, was doing the street legal kit. So we've got everything on it we need to make it street legal. Today what I want to do is I've got a winch to install on the front. And hey Miles, what do you think? Ready to get started working on installing the winch? How about you, Doug? Dogs are running in and out of the shop like crazy. So anyways, I've got a winch to install here on the new RZR. So we're gonna get started on that if I can get the dogs to leave me alone for 5 minutes. What are you doing, Doug? You wanna talk? Doug, you wanna talk? Okay guys, go on. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is get the dog out of the way. You're a menace. You're a menace. You're a cute menace, but you're a menace. Did you really just burp on me? It's freaking impossible. Okay, go on you guys. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to remove this center panel down here and then this piece around here. So we're going to go ahead and get started on taking that off. Instructions don't say to do this, but I'm going to pop the grill out just because it's easy and hopefully it'll help me get a little bit better access to things. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the winch onto the winch plate here. There we go. That's how it goes in. Okay, so there's the winch bolted to the winch plate. I must have absolute terrible luck with instructions because once again, there is terrible instructions. It tells you to, bolt the winch on, but it doesn't show you in, real big detail. You got to kind of look through a bunch of pictures to make sure you're lining it up properly. The actual instructions for the bracket do not show any of the wiring stuff. It doesn't say to do the wiring first or do the wiring after, any of that. So I'm gonna put this stuff on and see if I can figure it out. Now, of course, all the wiring instructions and everything will be with the actual winch itself, so that's fine. I do have instructions for that, but that's only for the winch and not for the mounting plate and all that kind of stuff. So anyways, minor stuff, obviously, but there is one thing I'm going to show you here on the RZR itself where they definitely completely missed a step on the instructions. So I'm going to get the fair lead put on here real quick just so that it is on and ready to go and all this grease is not getting all over everything. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you on the RZR the part that they skipped. There's something that you need to take off that they didn't even address in the instructions. So let's get this fair lead put on. Okay, so in the instructions, they tell you to remove the 2 plastic push tabs that are in here, which mine didn't have any at all. It was already loose, but there's just supposed to be 2 little plastic push tabs that hold this plastic piece to this little front bumper piece. What they don't tell you is you have to remove this front bumper. You actually lose this little bumper hoop by adding this winch. So we're gonna pull this off. The winch will actually go right in back behind there. Doug, you helping? Are you helping, buddy? Or are you just getting in the way? What are you doing, dude? Hey. No. Leave it. Dogs are so helpful. Okay, so now that we've got that off, on the back of the bracket there's two tabs, and there are two slots on the frame here, and those tabs will go into those slots and rest on it. Just like so. So we take the bolts supplied with the kit, well, there's that mounted up at least. So now I have to work on getting everything wired up, figure out where all the components go. So I'm going to take a hard look at that. I may have to pull a bunch of stuff apart on this again, on the front end, getting wires run through and all that fun stuff, but we'll get that figured out and show you what I figure out here in a second. All right, so I got the winch all wired up. It did take a bit to figure out a good way to do it, so let me show you what I did. There are just two wires that go to the actual winch itself, and then they go to a control box that then goes to the battery for direct power. So the two wires connect right there on the winch, and I went up and I actually wrapped them in a protective coating, keep them together. And so I zip tied them up to the frame and then in through the grommet on the passenger side. Now one thing I wish I would have done is actually shorten the wires. It does give you some stuff in the winch kit to be able to do that. I just didn't do it, and I should have. So I may end up taking this apart later and redoing it, but for now, I know it's all put together and working. So anyway, so those two wires come up underneath the dash, and then that is the control box right there. So I've just zip tied it to a bracket there. And then you've got all your connections on the side. And that allows me to still get this tray back in there. And then of course I connected the power and ground. I put my switch in right there. So these are just little knockouts that you can pop out and put your rocker switch in. So I wired that in. I had to find a ignition on source. So what I did was I actually just tapped into the power wire for the street legal kit. So that gives me an ignition on source for that. Then I ran the wire back down underneath the dash, and I used some of these zip ties. I have this little plug on the end, and drilled a few holes and secured them in that way. So, and then down to the battery underneath the seat. The seat does not get out of the way very well. So it's all connected there. Everything works. Tested it, and it's working, so that's a good thing. Definitely doing the wiring was the hardest part. So I do still need to put the grill back in, the plastic surround, and then the winch guard, which is a steel plate that it came with. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now, and then we can get this winch pulled back in and get this thing finished up. Hope you're enjoying the video. If you are, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button, and let's get this winch finished up. So now this is the plate that it comes with to replace the plastic plate on the front. You use the factory hardware. So this needs to run through here. Okay, so there is that. Now the winch does come with a hook of its own, but I want to dress it up a little bit. So I went ahead and I got a Factor55 Ultrahook in orange, of course. So we're going to put that on. All right, so there it is. The winch is complete, and complete with the Factor55 Ultrahook in the orange to match. It was not the easiest install. The install of the winch itself was not bad, but the wiring and that kind of fun stuff was a bit of a pain, which is becoming a theme on this thing. So definitely gonna have to figure out some stuff to be able to do a better job of wiring things up on other accessories in the future. We're going to be doing some lights and some of that kind of stuff on this, so we'll get it figured out. But yeah, winch install is complete on the RZR Turbo R. Thanks for tuning in. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well, and we'll see you next time on Second Chance Overland.